Okay, let's be honest for a second. Is your smart TV actually smart? You might think so, but it's about to get a serious, genius level upgrade. We're going to dive into how Google's Gemini AI is about to completely flip the script on how you interact with the biggest screen in your house.
But before we jump into the amazing new solution, we have to talk about the problem. And it's a frustration I think pretty much all of us have felt at some point.
You know the feeling, right? You finally get to sit down on the couch, you're ready to relax, and then, boom. You realize you've just spent the last 20 minutes scrolling, just trying to find something to watch. It's a classic, familiar headache for so many of us.
Yeah, it's this universal headache. You're faced with that endless scroll. You're trying to navigate these confusing menus. And then there's the age-old family debate over what to put on. And we've all been there, trying to remember the name of that one movie, with that one actor, and then having to painstakingly type it all out with that clunky remote. That's the friction this new tech is designed to just get rid of.
So, what if the solution wasn't another menu or an even more complicated remote? What if you could just talk to your TV? Well, that's the whole idea behind Google's conversational fix, and it's called Gemini AI. So, what is this thing, really? Well, at its core, Gemini for Google TV is way more than just a voice search. Think of it like a full-blown AI assistant that's baked right into your television. So instead of using rigid commands, it actually understands natural, conversational language. This lets you find stuff, get recommendations, and even control your TV settings just by talking to it like you would a person. Google unveiled this at CES, and it really represents a massive shift in how we think about our TVs. We're moving away from the era of clicking through endless menus and into a new era of having an actual conversation with the centerpiece of our living rooms. Okay, so what does this actually mean for you when you're on the couch, remote in hand? Let's break down the new superpowers your TV is about to get. The first superpower is all about smarter discovery. You don't have to remember exact titles anymore. You can just describe the plot, or name an actor, or even ask a really vague question like, what's that new hospital drama everyone's talking about? Gemini is designed to totally get the context and find what you're looking for. It's pretty cool. But Gemini's abilities go way beyond just finding movies and shows. This next feature literally transforms your TV from just a passive screen into an interactive learning tool. This feature is called Deep Dives, and honestly, it's like having a custom documentary made for you on the fly. You can ask your TV a question about anything you're curious about, from the history of ancient Rome to how black holes work. Gemini then creates a narrated interactive overview, and you can even ask follow-up questions to go deeper and deeper into the topic. Okay, so we've gone from public knowledge to your own personal memories. This next superpower completely changes how you experience your own photos and videos on the big screen. I mean, the difference here is just striking. Before, Google Photos on your TV was a pretty simple slideshow viewer. Now, with Gemini, it becomes this creative canvas. You can use your voice to find photos of specific people or moments, apply all these cool artistic styles, or even just ask Gemini to whip up a cinematic slideshow from your last vacation. It's a complete reimagining of your personal media. All right, we've saved what might be the most practical and maybe the most impactful feature for last. Let me ask you this. What is the single most frustrating thing about using a TV, especially when you're right in the middle of a movie? I think we all know the answer. It's having to stop what you're watching just to dig through those endless, super complicated settings menus to make one tiny little adjustment. Ugh. Just think about the old way, right? You stop the movie, you hit the settings button, you navigate through like 5 submenus just to find something like Dialogue Enhancer. With Gemini, you just say, the dialogue is too quiet, or the screen is too dim, and that's it. The AI understands what you mean and makes the adjustment instantly, without interrupting your show. This is a true game changer for the viewing experience. So this isn't just some far-off concept. This is the very near future of your TV. So let's get into the practical details. How and when can you actually get this technology in your own living room? Here are the basics of what you'll need. Your device has to be running Android TV OS 14 or higher. You'll also need a Google account and, of course, an internet connection. That's a given. And as with any new rollout, just keep in mind it'll be available for select devices, countries, and languages to start.
And as for when you can expect it, Google is actually launching these features on select TCL televisions first. After that initial phase, they'll be rolling it out more broadly to other Google TV devices over the next few months, so definitely keep an eye out for those software updates.
And that brings us to our final thought. For decades, the remote control has been the absolute center of the TV experience, right? But as our televisions become these true AI companions, you have to wonder, is this the moment where talking to our TV finally becomes more intuitive, more powerful, and just more natural than clicking a button? That's the future Google is betting on.